Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Viltrox 24mm f1.8 compact prime for Sony full-frame E-mount cameras. Now this does have autofocus, for those of you that are wondering, and it was sent over by the manufacturer for review purposes. It retails for roughly $400 US, and that makes it an affordable compact prime for cameras like the A7C. I've been covering a lot of compact glass for that. And of course, it can be used on any Sony E-mount camera, so it doesn't have to be what I just mentioned. It could be anything. And I'll actually be popping it onto my A7R2 here in a moment to see what it looks like on body. But if it performs well, this could be a winner because at its price point, it is coming in lower than pretty much anything else in its class. So first thing you're hit with, a carry case, some paperwork, a little bit of silica gel to keep it nice and fresh. And let's go ahead and get this thing out if I can. There we go. So, what am I expecting with this? Well, Viltrox, once upon a time, sent me an 85mm lens, and it was pretty good. And it was something that I could confidently recommend at its price point. And that's the key to what Viltrox makes, is that these lenses generally are good values. They aren't necessarily best-in-class performers, but they do deliver expected performance for the price you're paying. And if you're looking for, again, a wide-angle, fairly fast prime, you're looking at what potentially could be a good option for you. So all metal construction. I'm not sure to what degree we do or do not have weather sealing. We have, of course, our focus ring right here, and then aperture right here. No clicking steps for the aperture, so if that was something you were hoping for, you can forget about it. But it still feels well made. I'm fairly certain this is made in China, but I'm not 100. I don't see anything on the lens itself. But let's see what it looks like, as I just stated, on my A7R2 that I have right here. I have one of my favorite lenses mounted to that. Of course, the good old trusty 24 to 105. Let's put that aside. Give this a little bit of a blow. And let's see what this thing looks like, again, on the A7R2. And this is not as compact, obviously, as the 24mm that I've been covering, the Sony and the Sigma compact, but it's still pretty small. I mean, when you take into account how large most of the new glass is for full-frame E-mount material, it's still pretty small. Now, there it is on body, and well-balanced. I mean, it's going to be all about how it performs, right? The lens hood is plastic, which I'm not in love with, but remember, this is a $400 lens. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, and if it actually produces solid images, sharp images, and video as well, then I'm going to be impressed, because at $400, you will be hard-pressed to find any glass that is, again, prime with autofocus that delivers decent results. So I like the fit and finish. It really does match the A7R2 very well. If this, little front heavy, it's not as compact as I still have. I'm about to ship back, since I've finished reviewing, I'm in the process of packing up the Sigmas, and I have the 24mm right over here. I'm just looking so that you can see a side-by-side, and that'll give you really a good point of reference to know exactly how compact. This is the Sigma compact prime, again, 24mm 3.5. Now, I'm not comparing them in terms of performance. The Sigma is a more expensive lens, just like the Sony is, but you can see why I'm saying it's still compact, but not nearly as compact as the Sigma or the Sony. I no longer have the Sony in studio. That is gone, but you can see side by side, this still kind of falls into that compact prime realm, and it's a little bit faster. Of course, this being a f3.5, this being an f1.8, but Sigma, made in Japan, a different story, again, more expensive, so it's not really apples to apples, but still, maybe something I'll discuss in my full review of this lens, because after all, the beauty right now of being an E-mount user, whether you're full frame, which I highly recommend, as opposed to APS-C, there is just a wide variety, great abundance of glass to choose from. Something, a luxury really, that we never had, we being Sony users in the mirrorless realm. So I'm excited to try this out with my A7R2 and my A7R4. I'll probably use it more so on the R2 than the R4 because, as many of you know, with the R4 to really leverage all of the resolution stuffed into that sensor, I'm not sure whether or not the Viltrox will be able to handle it, but I will absolutely test it and see. But, you know, the A7R2 already has a ton of, megapixels stuffed into its sensor, so it'll be, I think, more than adequate to give us a good idea of whether or not it's sufficient. But you'll have results from both for me, and whether or not I think it's worth the $400 price point. And really, that's going to be not just about how sharp it is or chromatic aberration, anything like that, and how sharp it is at the corners, but also the fact that it does have autofocus. Because at this price point, you have to wonder, how good is that autofocus going to be? When you buy Sony G Series or Sigma contemporary glass, or of course G Master Sony glass, you're not just paying for build quality and weather sealing, you're also paying for how quickly it can autofocus and how much of that photographic information that the sensor is capable of collecting can be resolved by the glass you're attaching to it. So there's really a wide gamut of variables when it comes to picking a piece of glass. And with this being so budget oriented, you have to have realistic expectations. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. In fact, my experience, as I stated earlier in the video, with the Viltrox 85mm was pretty impressive for the price point. And that's why when Viltrox said, "Are you interested in checking out our new 24mm?" I said, absolutely, because I've got so many 24mm primes in-house that have been coming in. It's a popular format for a reason. I mean, it's really an optimal wide lens, not a super wide, but still great for so many different applications. And to just have an even more affordable, faster option is certainly a nice thing. And by the way, this is made in China. I wasn't sure whether it was China or Taiwan, but it is right there on the box. So just adding that in. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.